Welcome to the Family Office, planning for the people who matter most.
So let's switch gears a little bit. And you sent me an interesting article regarding college degrees and graduation and everything. And the reason why I'm interested in that is because, I was brought up, you go to school, you get good grades, and because of that, you get a job. And so I got a bunch of degrees and got a bunch of debt in the process. Whereas you decided, you know what, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to make a bunch of money and I'm not going to spend all this time in college. And, and I would consider both of us, intelligent people. And so college doesn't make one more intelligent than anybody else. So I'm very interested to hear your perspective about the graphic you sent me. And I have my 2 cents, but I really want to hear from you.
You saw both of them, right?
I did.
Okay, so you have the lowest paying degrees and you have the highest paying degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because I just looked at this data and I just started making I just started looking at it and analyzing it. The lowest paying degrees are by large education degrees. Mm-hmm. Those are the lowest paying degrees. I mean, you think about secondary education,
yes.
special education, general education, elementary education, early childhood education. They're the lowest paying degrees. Like if you go and get a degree for child education, you're only getting paid $52,000. That's mid-career median wage. Mid-career, not even starting. That's like, hey, I spent, what's mid-career? 10 years, 15, 30? What is
15, between 10 and 15 years.
Can you imagine spending 15 years of your life to get $52,000 a year? It's like the sheriff department or the teacher here. It was a city in Klein, I think it was Klein, Texas.
Okay.
Or no, Klein.
Klein. Okay.
Klein School District, Len.
Okay.
Do you know how much the superintendent was getting paid?
I have no idea.
Guess. Take a stab at it.
Superintendent in Klein. Yeah. What's the population there roughly? I'm not familiar with that.
No idea.
Is it more than 500,000 people?
I doubt it. Let's see. Klein. School district.
Is that all that matters? Because the size of the school district matters how much they get paid. I'm technical, man. You shouldn't have asked me that question.
Let me get this. Let me get this for you. Let me get you this. 51 to 58,000 students.
Okay, got it. So a superintendent for 51 to 58,000 students, you should be making north of 300K.
Should he be making 700?
Whoa. 700. Okay.
700,000.
I didn't think that far north.
Do you know what a 30-year teacher in that district makes?
I have no idea.
60,000.
Wow, that's a big discrepancy.
$59,000.
Superintendents, they deal with a lot. Then they work a lot of hours because I was on that trajectory, so I get that.
Glenn.
But that's a big
700,000, baby.
700? Yeah, that's a lot.
700. So when I look at this, and then I'm like, dang, performing arts. Well, you could make 75,000, right? But then when you look at the highest paying degrees, they're all in engineering, chemical engineering, computer engineering,
STEAM,
aerospace, electrical engineering, computer science, mechanical engineering, construction services, civil engineering. And I think when you look at this, these degrees, and you see where that education system is going, it's all geared towards trades again. It's all geared towards people creating and innovating again. But still, even at that, Len, when you get this college degree and let's say you're a chemical engineer, mid-career median wage, $135,000, how do you survive off of that when $106,000 is considered Section 8 poverty in Orange County, California now?
It's very
What's
difficult.
going on with this? Why do you pay so much for this education to get so little in return? That's where I'm like going, education is like, is the education system being forced out, or is it just being innovated out? Because why would I go spend all this time to do this outside of the sake of argument of dignity and self-respect when I can go do something stupid on the internet and make 100x that?
Yeah, it's a tough question. And I think it's an age old question, which is how do you strategically how do you strategically go to college? Because in the past, the economy and the context was different. So before the whole college revolution, it was, okay, I'm going to go work for a factory. So if I lived in Detroit, I can go work for Ford and make a really good living. And my house was $25,000 to $50,000. If I had a pension, I could live on, $1,000 a month and be comfortable. And so nowadays, when you look at the cost of living and you look at the wages, cost of living has significantly surpassed wages. And so before, a teacher's salary used to provide a living wage, but now it doesn't. And so because of that, when you look at teachers and educators and psychologists and things like that, they're getting paid based on the tax base that's created through business and commerce, because they're not creating, they're creating value, but it's intrinsic value, if that makes sense. So teachers are educating the next generation, which is a value, but there isn't a tangible value associated with it. So by virtue of that, they're going to get paid less. But before, when it was a living wage, it wasn't an issue because most teachers and most educators were predominantly female. So if you live in a 2-income household and they're married to somebody who's in more of the technical spaces, now making an income of $22,000 50 years ago was no problem. And so now when you look at, STEAM, which is, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, they're actually in jobs and in careers that create other jobs and that create infrastructure economically. And so therefore they can pay them more. So it's just the economics of those career paths. So what kids nowadays have to do is they have to look at college and say, okay, does this major put me in a financial position to be able to take care of myself economically? And others may say, you know what? I don't really care. I'm not driven by money. I don't really care about that. I just want to make an impact and I want to make a difference. And both pathways are okay. But it's important to understand that one needs to be intentional about the pathway they take, because if they don't want to make money, then they've got to understand that the lifestyle they live has to be very modest, and they have to make sure that the way in which they expect their tangible life to look should be considerably less than the person that decides to take a different career path on the more technical side.
What it takes to be, I have the what it takes, but I was going to find what it takes to live comfortably in each state. And I want to say, I can't find it right now, but I want to say if I do find it, we'll come up on it again.
Okay.
I wish I would have sent it to you because I don't have it. But I want to tell you that when I was looking at it, it's far more than all of these. It's far more than all of these. Like, to live comfortably in most states, you need to make more than these degrees. Like, I want to say it's somewhere around I want to say the average was like somewhere around 180, almost 200,000 a year.
Yeah. I mean, it's important to really understand the data, because, like, for example,
you can chop it up any way you want.
Yeah, because the median income really just talks about, a large sector of people kind of in that middle. It's not average. And so there's, outliers on both sides. So, like, for example, in Wyoming, a teacher's going to make, somewhere in the 20s to 40s versus in New York, a high-end teacher's going to make, over $100,000 a year. And so while, but it's also relative too, because, living in Wyoming versus living in New York, the cost of expense, the cost of living is significantly different.
Hugely different.
Right. With that being said, Chris, it's always a pleasure. Until next week.
See you then.
Take care.
Conversation has given you clarity on your next steps. Please share this episode with someone who's walking the same path. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. And remember, planning ahead isn't just prudent, it's an act of care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Family Office.